Every trader starts the same way: excited, hopeful, convinced they've found something powerful. You open your first chart and it feels like opportunity. Candles moving, numbers shifting, money being made somewhere in the world. You think, I can do this. That's stage one, the illusion stage. This is where trading looks simple. You see a strategy online, maybe a breakout system, maybe support and resistance, maybe an indicator that never fails. And it works, at least at first. You catch a few good trades. You feel smart. You feel ahead. You start calculating what happens if you scale. If this keeps working, maybe you quit your job. Maybe you double your account this year. This stage feels powerful, but it's fragile because you haven't met reality yet. The illusion stage is built on early wins and limited experience. You haven't faced real drawdowns. You haven't faced the internal battle. You believe the problem in trading is strategy. You think once you find the right system, everything clicks. So you search, you test, you tweak, you optimize, you add indicators, you remove them, you jump from one approach to another. And when something works briefly, you attach to it. But here's what most traders don't realize. In stage one, you're not trading the market. You're trading your expectations. Your expectations are unrealistic. You expect smooth growth. You expect steady wins. You expect logic to beat emotion easily. But the market doesn't reward expectations. It rewards stability. And stage one traders are not stable yet. They're optimistic. There's a difference. Optimism feels like confidence. But it's not the same. Optimism disappears during losing streaks. Confidence built on structure survives them. Then comes the first real losing streak. Not one loss, not two, but 5, 6, 7 in a row. You start questioning the strategy. Was it luck? Was it wrong? Did the market change? You begin system hopping because you still believe the problem is technical. You haven't realized yet that the real evolution in trading isn't technical. It's psychological. Stage one traders blame the market. They blame volatility. They blame fake breakouts. They blame news. They rarely blame their emotional reactions. They don't see how fear caused hesitation, how ego widened stops, how impatience created overtrading. Because in stage one, self-awareness is low, excitement is high, and reality hasn't fully hit yet, but it will. Every trader eventually moves into stage two, the frustration stage, where illusions collapse. And this is where most traders quit. This is the stage nobody talks about honestly, because this is where trading stops being exciting and starts becoming personal. Stage two is frustration. This is where your early confidence gets tested. Hard. You've had enough losses now to realize something uncomfortable. It's not as easy as you thought. The strategy that worked last month suddenly doesn't. The market behaves differently. You take a clean setup. It fails. You take another one. It fails again. Now frustration builds. You're not confused anymore. You're irritated. You start asking, what am I doing wrong? Why does this work for others but not for me? Is this even possible? This is the stage where most traders either evolve or disappear, because frustration attacks your identity. In stage one, you believed you were smart enough to win. In stage two, that belief gets shaken. Now the real psychological battle begins. You start overtrading not because you don't know the rules, but because you want to feel back in control. You increase position size to recover losses faster. You enter trades slightly earlier. You move stops just a little. You justify it. It's still within my system, but deep down you know it's emotional. This stage is dangerous because it feels logical. You tell yourself you're adapting, but you're reacting, and reaction without structure creates chaos. Here's what's really happening in stage two. You are meeting yourself, your fear, your ego, your impatience, your need for validation. Every impulsive trait gets exposed. Every emotional weakness shows up. And for the first time, you start to realize maybe the problem isn't strategy. Maybe the problem is me. That realization is painful because it removes the excuse. If it's the system, you can switch. If it's the broker, you can change. If it's the market, you can blame. But if it's you, then growth becomes uncomfortable. Stage 2 traders feel stuck. They experience cycles, small wins, short confidence spikes, long frustration periods. The equity curve looks chaotic. Up, down, no stability, no smooth growth, just emotional waves. And this is where psychology becomes unavoidable. You begin to notice patterns in yourself. You hesitate after losses. You overtrade after wins. You break rules when you're tired. You revenge trade when you're angry. This awareness is painful, but it's the beginning of evolution because stage 2 forces a choice. You either continue searching for a perfect system or start fixing your behavior. Most traders stay in stage 2 for years. They keep system hopping. They keep looking for shortcuts. They keep thinking the next strategy will solve everything. But it never does, because until execution stabilizes, nothing compounds. And without compounding, growth is temporary. Stage 2 is not about market difficulty. It's about emotional instability. And the traders who make it past this stage do one thing differently. They stop obsessing over prediction and start focusing on discipline. That shift marks the beginning of stage 3, the professional transition. This is where trading stops being emotional and starts becoming structured. This is where everything changes. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but fundamentally, stage 3 is the transition from emotional trader to structured operator. You stop asking, what strategy should I try next? And you start asking, how can I execute consistently? That shift is massive, because now you understand something most traders never fully accept. The edge was never just in the chart. It was in behavior. At this stage, you simplify. You narrow your focus. One strategy, one risk model. Clear rules, no more constant experimentation. No more chasing. You stop trying to be impressive. You start trying to be consistent. And for the first time, you build real stability. Losses don't shake you the way they used to. Not because they feel good, but because they feel expected. You understand variance now. You understand probability. You understand that even a profitable system can lose 5 times in a row, and instead of reacting emotionally, you stay within your rules. That's maturity. But this isn't the final evolution. There's one more stage. Stage 4, the identity shift. This is where trading stops being something you do and becomes something you manage. You no longer see yourself as someone trying to win. You see yourself as a risk manager. That identity changes everything. You don't chase big days anymore. You protect capital. You don't force trades. You wait for your edge. You don't panic during drawdowns. You measure them. You don't get euphoric after streaks. You stay mechanical. Your behavior becomes boring, and boring becomes profitable. At this stage, the equity curve smooths out, not because the market changed, but because you did. You're not perfect. You still feel emotion, but emotion no longer dictates action. There's space between impulse and execution. That space is discipline, and discipline compounds. Now, here's the truth most traders never hear clearly. Very few people ever reach stage 4. Most stay stuck between illusion and frustration. They bounce between optimism and anger, confidence and doubt, excitement and burnout. The traders who evolve understand something critical. The real evolution of every trader is internal. It's not about finding better signals. It's about building stronger self-control. If you are still chasing systems, you're likely in stage 1 or 2. If you're obsessing over losses, you're likely in stage 2. If you've simplified, structured, and stabilized, you're entering stage 3. If your focus is entirely on risk control and consistency, you're in stage 4. So the real question is, what stage are you in? Be honest. Because self-awareness is the doorway to growth. You can't skip stages. You can't hack the process. Every trader must confront illusion, must endure frustration, must accept responsibility, must build discipline. The hidden evolution of every trader is not visible on the chart. It's visible in behavior, in how you react to losses, in how you handle wins, in whether you follow rules when nobody is watching. That's the real evolution. And once you recognize your stage, you stop pretending. You start improving. You stop chasing. You start refining. You start reacting. You start managing. And that's when trading stops feeling chaotic and starts feeling professional. The market doesn't decide your stage. Your behavior does. So again, what stage are you in? Because the moment you answer that honestly is the moment you begin to evolve. There is one final stage. Very few traders ever talk about it because very few ever reach it. This is the stage beyond discipline, beyond consistency, beyond stability. This is the stage of detachment. At this level, trading is no longer emotional, but it's also no longer personal. You are not trying to win. You are not trying to prove yourself. You are not trying to recover losses. You are not trying to recover losses. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are operating cleanly, quietly, systematically. The elite stage is not about making more trades. It's about making fewer better decisions. At this level, patience becomes automatic. You no longer feel the urge to be in the market. You're comfortable not trading. You're comfortable missing moves. You're comfortable being wrong because your identity is no longer tied to outcome. It's tied to execution quality. That shift changes everything. You begin thinking in quarters and years, not days and weeks. You measure performance over long windows. You analyze drawdowns calmly. You refine edges incrementally. You do not overreact. You do not celebrate excessively. You do not panic. There is emotional neutrality, and emotional neutrality is power. Most traders think success feels intense. It doesn't. It feels controlled, it feels structured, it feels repetitive, it feels almost boring. But that boredom is stability, and stability is rare. At this stage, confidence is no longer emotional. It's statistical. You trust your system because you've seen it perform across hundreds of trades. You trust your risk model because it has protected Y, repeatedly. You trust your behavior because you've proven discipline over time. And when you trust those three things, you scale, not aggressively, not impulsively, gradually, strategically. Scaling at this stage does not create anxiety. It feels logical because your behavior doesn't change when numbers increase. And that's the key. Money magnifies personality. If you are unstable, more money increases instability. If you are disciplined, more money increases growth. That's why most traders never reach this level. They try to scale before they stabilize. They try to win before they mature. They try to grow before they evolve. But evolution in trading is internal first. External results follow internal development. Now here's something important. The elite stage doesn't mean you never struggle again. It means struggle doesn't control you. You will still have losing months. You will still face volatility. You will still feel moments of doubt. But you respond differently. You don't spiral. You don't abandon your system. You don't increase risk emotionally. You adjust logically. You review data. You refine patiently. And you continue. This stage is quiet. There are no dramatic screenshots, no emotional highs, no panic lows. Just consistent execution, over and over again. And that repetition compounds into real wealth. Not fast wealth, not flashy wealth, real wealth. The kind built on control. Let's zoom out completely. Stage 1 was illusion. Stage 2 was frustration. Stage 3 was structure. Stage 4 was identity shift. Stage 5, this final stage, is detachment, where trading becomes process-driven, where emotion exists but does not lead, where ego fades, where urgency disappears, where patience dominates. Very few traders make it here because it requires humility, it requires accountability, it requires long-term thinking, it requires self-awareness. Most people would rather search for a new strategy than confront themselves. But the hidden evolution of every trader is not technical, it's psychological. And the traders who truly evolve understand one thing: the market is not something to conquer. It is something to manage, and you manage it by managing yourself. So now ask yourself again, what stage are you in? Are you still excited by illusion? Still stuck in frustration, transitioning into structure, building a new identity, or operating with detachment? Wherever you are, that's your starting point. The goal isn't to rush stages. The goal is to recognize them, because awareness accelerates growth. Denial delays it. And the moment you become honest about your stage is the moment your real evolution begins. Not on the chart, inside you. That's the hidden evolution of every trader. And the few who complete it stop chasing the market and start mastering themselves. At the end of all of this, after the charts, after the wins, after the losses, after the frustration, after the discipline, there is one final realization. Trading was never just about money. It was about transformation. When you first started, you thought the goal was profit. You thought success meant bigger numbers. But somewhere along the way, if you stayed long enough, you realized something deeper. The real evolution wasn't on the screen. It was in you. You became more patient, more controlled, more aware of your impulses, more honest about your weaknesses, more disciplined in your decisions. The market forced you to grow. It exposed your impatience. It revealed your ego. It challenged your fear. And every time you chose discipline over impulse, you changed. That's the part most traders never talk about. The hidden evolution isn't technical mastery. It's self-mastery. Stage 1 was innocence. Stage 2 was pain. Stage 3 was awareness. Stage 4 where SH structure. Stage 5 is ownership. Ownership of your behavior. Ownership of your behavior. Ownership of your growth. At this stage, you no longer blame the market. You no longer blame volatility. You no longer search endlessly for better indicators. You understand something powerful? Your results are a reflection of your execution, and your execution is a reflection of your mindset. That awareness gives you control, and control gives you peace. Trading stops feeling chaotic. It stops feeling personal. It stops feeling emotional. It becomes calculated, measured, intentional. You don't wake up chasing profits. You wake up protecting discipline. Because you know discipline is what creates profit. You don't panic during drawdowns. You study them. You don't celebrate wildly during streaks. You stay grounded. You don't force growth. You allow compounding. And that's when something shifts permanently. You stop trying to win at trading. You start managing risk professionally. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop gambling emotionally. You start operating strategically. This is where very few reach, not because it's impossible, but because it requires time. It requires humility. It requires self-reflection. It requires surviving your own mistakes. Most traders quit before this stage. They leave during frustration. They give up during drawdowns. They never stay long enough to evolve. But the ones who do, they look back and realize the biggest battle was never the market. It was themselves. And once they won that battle, the market became manageable. So now one final time, what stage are you in? Be honest. Are you still chasing shortcuts? Still reacting emotionally? Still searching for perfection? Or are you building structure, strengthening discipline, taking ownership because evolution in trading is not automatic? It's intentional, it's earned, and it's internal. The hidden evolution of every trader is simple. You begin by trying to master the market. You end by mastering yourself. And once you master yourself, the market no longer controls you. You control your behavior. You control your risk. You control your execution. And that's enough. That's where stability begins. That's where compounding begins. That's where compounding begins. That's where real growth begins. Not explosive growth, the kind that lasts. So wherever you are in the journey, recognize it, accept it, and take the next step forward, because the moment you become aware of your stage is the moment your real evolution begins, is what separates traders who chase the market from traders who master it.